I always wanted Jagged Mountain Knives to be my career. I wanted it to be, the business that I would stick with, for my life, but I didn't always believe that would be possible. I didn't think I'd be able to support a family by making custom knives, and so I had to figure out a lot of things to do to try and change that. And it was a challenge. I think the biggest challenge was it was really difficult to get sales at first. We had no marketing presence, we had no brand, and it was really difficult to get someone to spend the money to buy a knife. And so I didn't have the work, I didn't have the sales. And I remember talking with my wife. I was like just barely recently married, and I was like, hey, this has been fun. I think I'm just going to focus on Jagged Mountain Knives as a hobby. It's not going to be a business. I don't see it, going anywhere crazy. But she was like, what are you talking about? Like, no, like, you're going to do this.
I'm Mason. I grew up here in Springville, raised here my whole life.
My name is Dallin Jacobson. I grew up in Preston, Idaho. I started making knives for Jagged Mountain Knives in the fall of 25. Well, I guess the end of the summer of 25.
I got into Jagged Mountain Knives from a really long time relationship with Jacob.
I started working because I essentially reached out to Jacob via Instagram. I slid into his DMs essentially.
The first time I ever made a knife, I was 11 years old. I was watching a YouTube video from the Backyard Boyer, an old YouTube channel. And it was a build-along video where you take an old Harbor Freight machete, you chop it up, get your own design, and I built my first knife out of an old Harbor Freight machete. And that led me into creating Jagged Mountain Knives. Before I started Jagged Mountain Knives, I had to learn a lot about bladesmithing. And the person who taught me is Ted Harris. Ted Harris was an older gentleman in my neighborhood growing up. And one day, me, my buddy, and my brother went over to his house. We knocked on his door and asked him if we could see some of the knives he made. And he graciously let us inside. He showed us his knives. We were all amazed, and he said, tomorrow come back. I want to teach you guys how to make some knives.
That's, I think, the greatest part about this job is you can think of what you want to make and you can make it. And I was able to have that opportunity to just design this knife through and through exactly what I wanted. And it was as much as it sucked, it was one of my favorite experiences making these knives for sure. We take this very serious. Like, we love the process of what we do here, and we pride ourselves in the fact that our goal is to bring manufacturing back to America. I care a ton about the people that are here in the shop, the craftsmen that are here in the shop making knives. They matter, and they're everything to Jagged Mountain Knives. So we do a couple things to show that to them, where we don't have an assembly line like most businesses do. We have a maker who takes a raw product all the way to a finished knife 100% by himself. You're not going to find that anywhere else unless it's a custom knife shop. But we allow that craftsman to get to go for the whole journey of making that knife and all the way to the finished product when it gets on your door. When you open a package from Jagged Mountain Knives, you see a beautifully handcrafted knife and you get a card with the maker's picture and a little bit of information about them that says, hey, my name's Dallin, my name's Mason, my name's Jacob, and I made your knife.
One of my favorite parts of making them is being able to get like a plank of wood and a bar of steel and make a really, really nice knife, and just seeing the whole process pan out. When I started out, people thought I was big and scary. I'm a taller guy, but then we all just kind of became a bunch of clowns together, just random inside jokes. I think one of the funniest things to see is everyone has a weird little sound effect they make if something slips or something doesn't sand or finish the way they want it. Yeah, holy buckets. Yeah, holy buckets has been my phrase.
Also, something cool and something kind of crazy is we work with a lot of equipment and machines aren't so safe. And sometimes we're working hard, we make little mistakes and accidents. I can think back of a couple months ago, we had 2 accidents on the bandsaw where people got a little careless and were running through, cutting handles, getting stuff ready, and they decided just to put their thumb into the blade and just sliced it. My brother Wesley sliced open his thumb. My friend Mason sliced open his thumb.
Yeah, my thumb, that was terrifying. I didn't like the bandsaw for about a month after that. I was scared to use that thing.
Something that it means to us is, like I said before, where we have a process and that man gets to take a knife to the whole journey. He gets to love the journey of creating that knife. And then when we sell that knife and we get it to you, that's now on you to continue that journey. This isn't a knife that's going to be gone in a year. It's not something you pick up from Walmart and expect it to break and be thrown away. It's something that we want to last for generations, where you get to have all these stories of you and your son hunting, or you and your son out camping, And then when it comes time, you're able to give that knife to your son, and he's able to give it to his son, and his son henceforth. It's a generational piece that has a story that's going to be used and going to be there forever.